Welcome to In the Cut, the show that gets you up close and personal with BN and our community. Good afternoon, morning, or evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to another episode of In the Cut. Actually, it is our first episode of In the Cut for 2024. We are so glad that you have joined us this afternoon. My name is Mandisa Thomas, and I am the founder and president of BlackNonbelievers. Welcome to In the Cut, which is the show that gets you up close and personal with BN and our community. And as always, we'd like to remind you that In the Cut is a production of BlackNonbelievers, which is a 501c3 organization. Headquartered in the Atlanta area, we connect with other Blacks and allies who are living free of religion and might otherwise be shunned by family members and friends by providing a caring, friendly, and informative community. Instead of accepting dogma, we determine truth and morality through reason and evidence. And as always, the mission of BlackNonbelievers is to provide secular fellowship, nurture and support non-believers in coming out, which is also known as open identification, encourage pride in non-religious identities, educate the public on the history and current state of non-belief in the Black community, and organize events and charitable causes. And you can visit our website to learn more at blacknonbelievers.org. BN welcomes all, regardless of age, gender identity, sexual identity, national origin, or racial identity. However, our work and our content prioritizes Black non-religious voices. So I'm very, very excited to welcome today's guest on our show. I hope you are excited as well. But before then, I would love to introduce someone special who is local to the Atlanta community and who will be joining the In the Cut family, if you will, from time to time to co-host. I'd like to briefly introduce you all to Miss Edith Gray, who has been a BN member for some time. And she will be joining us as a co-host periodically. Everyone, Edith, please say hello to the In the Cut audience and please say a few words.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon. I have been involved with BlackNonbelievers off and on since I moved to the area about 4 years ago. I'm a mother of 2 grown children. I have family in the area, and I'm just pleased to be in fellowship with other non-believers. It's been a really great journey. Leaving religion and finding a sense of belonging in this community. So that's all for now. Yes.
Awesome. So how do you feel about helping with the show in the future? How are you feeling about that?
I'm excited to help. I know Mandisa's been doing a lot of great work here, and just to, help spread the burden around. She has, a family to attend to as well. So just to give her a break sometimes, I thought it'd be a good idea to man the show sometimes and get to know more about this community yeah. Just to get to know the community better and continue the work that's being done here.
Don't worry, Will. Absolutely. So, thank you, Edith. Today is a very somber anniversary for those of us who can recall. It was 3 years ago that some folks decided to attack the Capitol in Washington, D.C. in protest of President-elect Biden at the time being named president after Trump. So there were some folks who got in and caused some harm and some damage to not just people, but also to the building itself. And, we want to here acknowledge that, for one, that this is not a perfect system. This is not a perfect country that we live in. There are a lot of issues that we have with, with the government. However, it just, is very interesting that these people who claim that they were exercising and doing their Christian duties had just the audacity and was able to get past security on the Capitol grounds. And if you've ever been to the state capitol in Washington, D.C., it's not easy to get through that. And the fact that these folks were able to do that and cause such harm and cause such damage to people, where a few have even lost their lives, it just really just goes to show the level of privilege and the lengths that people will go to quote unquote protect their values, so to speak. And so it has been very interesting to have followed the news on that these past few years, especially as we see charges being brought against the former president, which I think is absolutely appropriate, and absolutely appropriate for those who actually took part in that insurrection or attack or what have you. So we do acknowledge that it's been 3 years since, and there are people who are still impacted by this. The country is definitely still impacted by it, and certainly those of us who champion separation of church and state or religion and government, we are certainly watching this very closely. And it's important for us to remember that, yes, we do champion separation of church and state and religion and government. They're not supposed to, they're not supposed to be in the same room. Of course, we know that has not always been the case, especially when it comes to certain legislators and politicians. But this is why it's important for us to continue to speak up and to speak out whenever we can. So, and of course, be mindful of some very, very interestingly not so hinged people in the world. So there's a lot that we, of course, have to be mindful of when it comes to these things, and when it comes to how we are navigating. We are now in a presidential election year. So I know there's going to be a lot of focus on that. There's going to be a lot of focus on the local levels and state levels as well, because we should be paying attention to who is running for office. It is important for us to continue to stay engaged in the civic process. That is going to be very, very crucial this year. And we all need to be aware and be ready to do our due diligence as much as possible. Of course, we are nonpartisan as an organization, as a 501c3. We do not endorse candidates. However, as individuals, as most of us champion values based on evidence, based on what's good for humanity, it's very important for us to continue to pay attention to these things. So, as an organization, we encourage people to get out there and vote, to get out there and stay on top of your candidates, speak to them as their constituents, let them know where you stand, let them know what you see challenges are, and openly as non-believers. That is very, very important, no matter how intimidating it can possibly be. So we do encourage everyone as a community to get involved and stay involved in the civic process. This is a part of the activism that we encourage. So, and also with that, I'd like to also once again welcome everyone to 2024. We have a lot in store. at Black Nonbelievers. We will be doing our year in review. You look out for that. If you are subscribed to our email, and if you are subscribed to us on social media, we will be doing our highlights of 2023. We appreciate everyone who has donated and financially supported Black Nonbelievers and contributed to us in some way. We always encourage you to support our work at any given time of the year. But we thank you so much for your support in 2023 in particular, especially as we went through a transitional period and we are still building back better. And so with that, I'm going to get into the show and welcome our special guest for today. She is someone that if you are in the YouTube sphere, in the YouTube community, you know very well. It is a pleasure to have finally connected with her at the end of last year. She is a YouTube commentator, social activist, and the host of Bad Science Sunday on YouTube. Please welcome as our guest today, Miss Maya Adkisson. Welcome to In the Cut,
Hi.
Maya.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to finally be here. Gosh, I feel like I've been watching you for years. I feel like we're old friends.
Yes. Awesome. And so I'm just so happy that you are here with us today. And I'm so excited for our viewers and for those who are, supporters of your channel to be tuning in today. So I'm just gonna let you. Yes, absolutely. Yes, indeed. So
Cynthia,
I'm just gonna.
Sorry.
Yes.
Cynthia's my girl. Sorry.
Yes,
ADHD.
yes. And Cynthia is Cynthia. Our, no, you're good. You're good. Actually, we are gonna get started. With your background, your journey. How you grew up. Just take it away. Tell our viewers about you and how.
Oh God. Great question. I'm gonna tighten this, but hear me out. My dad's mother was orphaned at the age of 8 years old and went to a convent or orphanage, run by nuns. And she grew up Catholic. So then, of course, when she had her children, they had to be raised Catholic. And then when my dad had me and my sister, we went to Catholic school. And that was my elementary and most of my high school. Growing up Catholic and going to church and learning all the things and all that fun stuff. I transferred to Protestant when I graduated from high school because the Catholics don't really have anything outside of Mass. There's no learning, and I felt like I still needed to develop my spiritual growth. So I moved over to Protestant because they had, Sunday school, Wednesday Bible study. There's a lot of things to do in the community, and there is a stronger Black community with Protestants, which I loved. When I think I was 33 when I don't know, I was having issues with my kids and it was just very troubling. I started taking meditation classes with, I don't know, here they call it woo community. We called it New Age or spiritual community. And I started having visions or experiences that I, as a Christian, wasn't supposed to happen. But it was real. So I'm like, okay, I need to go pursue this. And in the New Age community, there's no book. So everybody comes out and they have their own ideas, and a lot of them are conflicting. And what I started out doing, for I looked into everything, like inner Earth, hollow moon, reptilians, Illuminati. The thing that kind of broke me out of it was the flat Earth. It was just, that was the thing that was just like, okay, this is too stupid. I can't. I was like, maybe kind of rein it in a little bit. And so that's when I went to the skeptic community, because to be able to tell what was true from what was not true, I started looking at debates and hearing the two sides talk to each other. It was a lot easier to see which side was the BS versus which side came with facts. And so I'm like, all right, I like these skeptics. I think that I can figure out kind of what's going on for me if I kind of, I don't know, learn their ways. And that's brought me down a lot. And so I came to the skeptic community from the New Age community. And I do consider myself a skeptic. I do consider myself a humanist. I haven't bitten the bullet on calling myself an atheist. I'll go agnostic. Mostly because I still have a lot of the rituals that I kept to keep me sane from the skeptic community. And it's not like, well, I do have my crystals. They're beautiful. They just sit in a window. But I don't necessarily meditate with them anymore. I do meditate. I do yoga, which not necessarily for exercise, but it does give you this more like broad spiritual, like openness, clear-headedness, which is really great for an ADHD brain. And same with the meditation. I swear by it. If I have a religion, it's meditation. But they're just things that my brain needs, and the practices that I've kept. But a lot of the things that I can't explain, I'm like, okay, they're over there, and I'm not making a claim one way or another on them, if that makes sense.
Right, it does. And I know that, for many, especially in Black communities, to actually identify as an atheist can be a bit, it can be a bit intimidating and even a bit scary, right? So, where did you grow up, and how did your family life impact because I know you said you grew up Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
But how was that in your overall family life up until you started really questioning?
My family was very liberal. We never talked about religion. My parents were kind of what do you call it? Those CME Christians. So yeah, we always went on Easter and Mother's Day and whatever. But usually they left the spiritual growth to the nuns, which were my teachers at school. We had religion class, and you were just a good person as long as you believed. It wasn't anything that my parents pushed on us, or outside of the whole school thing. So I don't know that my parents had an influence on my spiritual growth so much as the nuns.
Okay, understood. So in your path to embracing your skepticism and letting go of the dogmatic religious beliefs, why is it important? Why have you found it important to address bad or insufficient claims, and why they are harmful for so many people, right? Because you have the religion piece, you have the thing where, you have the thing where, okay, you have these different beliefs and different gods and such, but what often comes with them are very questionable actions as a result. and also some that are pretty harmful and damaging to a lot of people. So, why is it that you think it's important for us to address the bad and insufficient claims as well?
All right. Oh, Jay, I'm gonna get you in here, man. This is like totally a place for you. So addressing bad claims, I think before Trump got into office, I thought about a lot of things actually very differently. But what I'm finding being more politically active is that the lies are destroying the country. And it, they are using lies and misinformation and what do you call it? The thinking, like kind of the religious thinking, what's the word I'm thinking of? Ugh. But like that religious thing where you find somebody that you know and you trust and you like, and whatever they say, like that's where I'm going. I'm seeing people actually like my co-host is a PhD physicist, and I saw him go into a chat of science deniers, and they just kind of laughed at him like, sorry you wasted all that money, bro. And we're seeing it. We didn't have to lose so many people during the pandemic, to the COVID, because they wouldn't get the COVID shot. We don't have to be in this environmental catastrophe because, there are so many science deniers. We don't have to be at odds with one another over the trans community, who and what the trans community is, who and what the Black community is. Black women in particular don't have to be the most hated group in society. But it's all, and the right holds the narrative, the public narrative on these things. And the Democrats just apparently aren't going to combat them. So it kind of throws the ball in the court of us, quote unquote, social justice warriors to speak out for ourselves and get the message out. And I don't tell people what to believe. I challenge them to understand, to know what they believe, but more importantly, why. Just, back up your claims. And that's how I raise my kids. And that's how I push my friends and my family. And actually, I probably worse than you if you're my friends or family, because you're an extension of me. I love hard. And, if you're going to go out there and you're going to believe things, like, just, you don't have to believe what I believe, but like, know why you believe it, like back it up. I feel like facts are what brings us together as a society. And I kind of feel like it's almost objectively important to the future of the human race.
Absolutely. And one thing I found is that facts and evidence are not the enemy of compassion and humanity.
No,
There is a way for us to, to learn this information and also, be able to do things in a very loving manner, and it doesn't have to be manipulative, right? Because I think that is, I think that the religious community seems to there's a perception of compassion and humanity in the religious community, and historically we know that isn't factual, right? We know that there are plenty of historical references that show the opposite. But when it comes to those of us who are on the other side, yes, those of us who are on the other side of this, and as we continue, as more folks continue to leave and more continue to explore and learn more, I think it's important for us to, to understand that, having the best information or good information is what is compassionate. It is humane. That is the best thing. So what are some of the what are some of the most noted bad science claims that you have seen since you have really come into skepticism? Which one or ones kind of stick out in your mind as, wow, I cannot believe these people actually believe or subscribe to this?
The biggest one's got to be flat Earth. Anybody who knows me knows this is a flat Earth. I refuse to do flat Earth on my channel. I'm like, their Earth is visibly round. You're denying the things that you see with your own eyes with it. Oh my God. Like I said, it was the one thing that broke me out of it. And but I owe them. I guess I kind of owe them because it's also why I started Bad Science Sunday. I saw my co-host like flipping out because he got banned in a chat with flat earthers, and I'm like, you're too smart for this. Why are you doing this? And I'm like, there's so many other horrible ideas out there. Like, why don't you come over here? And I wanted to stream. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I just hit the go live button and I fired up a ghost video because it's one of my like kind of guilty pleasures. I like watching YouTube ghost hunters. I found it's funny to me. And that was on a Sunday, I think around 9 p.m. my Eastern, 6 p.m. his time. And we just kind of started going from there. And as it picked up popularity, now we're going more into the skeptic, like more like the science based, not just, the ghost videos were funny, but there's not a lot to debunk, at least not for me. I'm not big on, what do you call it? Video and like how you can do it. It's hard for me to say, okay, well, if you overlay this or if you put some wire, you could totally do that. Like, that's not my thing. I have a psychology degree. My co-host has a physics degree, and we usually have somebody else, one who has a degree or has done a lot of studying in a different science. So between the three of us, we can bring something down. So we have done, I've done Hollow Earth, Crater Earth. We did some Nazi debunking. We've done, a bunch of other things. I'm trying to be kind of Christian friendly because I want to pull them in and try to get them thinking more logically. Though, like when Jen and Oz were on, we did do some Ray Comfort debunking, and it wasn't a Christian thing. It's just Ray Comfort has really bad ideas. And I think going into the new year, I want to kind of get focused more on bringing more Black creators on and focusing on things that affect the Black community and not, I mean, it's really hard. Like, we're all American. So there's not anything that is just special to the Black community. But for instance, tonight we're doing debunking Nazis again, which is really good in stopping more people, getting them to understand what their alt-right pipeline does and how to subvert it, which is really good for the Black community, for women, for the trans community, for really any marginalized group. And I think that it's important for people, I think, to see people of color doing the debunking. So I want to find more Black creators out there too, because I don't know that if like, I'm over here fangirling so much. You kept me in the community. I think you were on AXP with Matt Dillahunty a few years ago. And I was getting really tired of the Dillahunty fanboy debate bros and like this toxic masculinity culture where it like you got to own somebody. And I felt like atheists just took all the aspects from religion and put it into like atheism, and it really did feel like atheism was their religion, because it's that latent Christianity, and that's taken me like 10 years in county to unravel how much like I religion was in every part of my life, absolutely every part of my life. And I've been really focusing on that, and why am I doing this? Why do I think this? And I want to give that to other people too, because there's a lot of, what I see is a lot of women and a lot of people of color filtering through the community. And I love my friends dearly. I don't think they don't see it how I see it. They don't realize how their actions are turning people off. And I'm hoping that, seeing more people does for the community what it did for me, and getting people with different viewpoints and ideas to come and stay and add that diverse mindset that really does. I mean, when you look at diversity and inclusion, it really big on that inclusive piece, it makes everything stronger. Everything from, community, companies, marketing, employment, your friendships, your families, child rearing. Diversity makes everything stronger. So I want to bring, like this year, I really want to focus on stopping the division, the us versus them, and bringing more of a community.
Okay. I absolutely do agree with you on that. There are a lot of folks in the non-religious community, or in atheist, humanist, and secular spaces, who are still trying to come to terms with their own with their position. It's one that many people think that they didn't have the option. So I do think that I do try to be understanding of that.
And I don't want to like I'm not dissing Matt Dillahunty. He's or anything that he's done a lot for the community.
I love Matt. We love Matt.
And I'm not so I'm not saying that it was Matt per se, but I think my issue is more so with the people who are.
I know what you mean.
So I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Absolutely.
I don't want anybody to come at me.
I'm right there with you.
And Matt has his own thing. He's cultivated his own personality. We
absolutely get it.
I want people to do that for themselves. I don't want people to feel like, well, I have to be like Matt. I have to be like Aaron. Be who you are, and figure who that is, and come into your own, and own that, and because and another thing, talking to Mikey Famine and Jenna Mew, she goes by online, and Cynthia. Love you, Cynthia.
Mm-hmm, we've had Jenna on the show before. Yeah,
awesome. And they've been kind of trying to promote me to come out, and again with the representation, because again, people need to see a bunch of different faces in the community. It really does help us feel comfortable, and if the goal is to grow, then I got to put my fear aside and turn the camera on, splash some makeup on my face, and be there.
Put on that war paint, as Cynthia says. I love that phrase now, as she has put it. And so, as we've been going on 13 years at Black Nonbelievers, this is definitely what we champion. So, letting people know that there are more Black non-religious voices out there, and that there are other content creators. There are people who are doing some really good work. And that's why I'm really glad that you are opening our season this year, because it is important to see more Black women debunking bad claims and bad science. Because, again, our voices matter in this conversation, and they do matter, especially in our communities. So just switching gears, for not really switching gears, but what do you find maybe a common factor for those who readily subscribe to bad claims, like to bad science claims?
I think that it's kind of weird because I'm trying to think of like my personal versus like the things that I've read. Generally, it's people who, just from a psychology perspective, it's people who don't feel like they're in control of their own life. We see people holding to superstitions. That was the word I was looking for earlier. Superstitious or fallacious, logic when either economic times are hard or when they themselves feel like they're in a disadvantage. So when they have lost a loved one or somebody close to them or a job or, those big life change things, we see people kind of gravitating towards things that it's kind of like mental comfort food. So it puts the poor people at more of a disadvantage. Personally, I also see it with the hyper religious people and even the atheists that are coming from that kind of corner where I like this person. I don't want to believe that they're a bad person. So, I'm going to ride this train until the wheels fall off. It's caused a lot of divisions in the community. But I think those are the big two, where you have people in disadvantaged positions, but also people who are not properly trained. So people who are more educated are less likely to hold to bad thoughts, and not just because they have the education to broaden their mindset, but because they've been given the tools, yes, but also their mind's been broadened. They know that the world doesn't necessarily work like this. So maybe, I should at least look into this before I, go all in. So I guess if I had to, two things, yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you say that because I know you said you have a psychology degree. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, I have a master's in behavioral
You have a
psychology. Yeah, I'm also a Reiki master.
But you're nice. But you yourself are also still struggling with that piece of when it comes to community and also being, I guess, solid with open and public about your position, especially with your family, which is something that people I find from all backgrounds do struggle with. And so are you finding that, having a better space for, have you found that since doing your show and coming into contact with other YouTubers and others in the community has been helpful to that part of your growth?
Being in the community has been really challenging. I'm taking it as a personal growth opportunity. Starting the show is a big leap for me because like I said, I don't tell my family that I no longer identify as Christian, and which is a conscious choice. I'm sure, well, you know how Black believers are. My goal is to get them to be more open-minded, more liberal. They had been very conservative prior to Trump, and Trump did help me move them left. But I lose all credibility as a non-Christian. So when I'm trying to get them to think about things like, we should support abortion rights, because it saves more lives, or, we should support the funding of a number of social support systems, even like homelessness. because, these people aren't lazy, they're disadvantaged, and, we're in a tertiary capitalist society. So we've got to help others, like things that religion should be teaching them. But like, again, the right holds the narrative. And, to be a good Christian, you have to side with us. I lose my moral high ground. And it's hard for me to say you should behave in a way that they associate with morals if they consider me to be moral less.
Well, I find that interesting, right? As I was saying in the beginning, we're on the 3-year anniversary of this insurrection / attack on the Capitol. And these were people who were spouting their Christian duties. And these were people who, like I said, they hurt others. Others were killed in the process. I'm trying to wrap my head around how you're the one who loses credibility because you say we should stand up for reproductive justice, that we should stand up for the rights for other human beings. I just find that mind-boggling at times that you would be perceived as the one in their eye, or you would be perceived as the one who does not have the moral high ground here. When, like I said before, there are plenty of examples of religious wars, so many things that have been perpetuated in the sense of like religious freedom, if you will. So it's like I find that very, very I find that very mind-boggling to me. So I'm trying to figure out how do you feel like you lose the moral high ground here? And not saying that you think you're better than them, because I'm sure you don't think you're better than them. But certainly that question has to come up like, wait a minute.
It depends on what you mean better. I don't think I'm a better human, but like I do like I would hope everyone would think their morals are better than everyone else's, because I believe that your thoughts should be grounded in logic and in facts. So if the facts are on your side, then I feel like that is better. IMO. But you know how Black Christians are, like. It's kind of like, if you know, like,
Absolutely. So, the thing for me is, this is where I can understand where many on the non-religious side are like, this is where we do push back and we're like, hold up. We understand that you have certain beliefs. But when it comes to me saying that I'm an atheist, or I'm a humanist, or I'm a skeptic, or I'm a non-believer, because you have limited information in that area. Because the one thing I always challenge everyone to do, whether you're religious or not, is to educate yourself and to be more informed about what a position is, even if you aren't familiar with it. And I know for some people that is scary, especially for those who have been deeply indoctrinated into religion. It is very, very scary. But sometimes that fear is projected onto others, which is why usually many people are hesitant to come up. Yeah, they're usually hesitant to speak up about their non-belief, especially when we are still living in a society where people are still very heavily religious. So
I had a friend who said she told a neighbor. Sorry.
Yes.
Oh no, I had a friend who told a neighbor that she was an atheist, and she spat in her face. So I don't feel like anybody would do that to me, but like, this is the world we live in.
And that's assault. That is assault. People need to know that there are charges that can be brought up against them for that. So it's like, wait a minute. I'm like, just on your basic level, I can press charges on you for that. That's violence. And it's like, wait a minute.
People think that violence is okay for Jesus. They think that, it's just totally fine to, we have Black trans women are like I think the most, like the highest homicide rates. And it just, or there's a couple of states now that are, well, I guess in the past like 4 years or whatever, that have taken off the books. I forget what it's called, but like there was like some leeway in the law where if you found out that somebody was homosexual and you like kind of spazzed out and killed them, that it would be like manslaughter or something low. Because, you know, if a man comes on to you, then you have the right to be freaked out and like to the point of, I mean, where you're homicidal. And I'm like, you know, or if you find out that a woman you like is not coming on to you, but she was assigned male at birth. And it's like, oh my God, I hit on a man. And, you know, now you have the right to, you know, assault or, you know, hurt her badly. And there were in the books loopholes to these laws where, you know, if you did something bad to someone who was not living a God-fearingly Christian life, you know, and this goes back to the inception of the country, like the Monroe Doctrine, you know, where it's just like, well, God has blessed us white Europeans to come in and slay all these heathens who do not know Jesus Christ. The country has always been this way. So I love what you're doing. I understand people wanting to, and I love the atheists that are out in the community and saying, you know, hey, yes, I'm an atheist, but I want to feed you. Yes, I'm an atheist, but I want to clothe you. But when I'm thinking about individuals, what I want is a better world. And I have to navigate my world the best way I can, with keeping my goal in mind. Of my goal is to move people left. That is my goal, to bring people together, to not have as many people living in fear needlessly. And if I'm not lying to my family. They know I don't go to, like, after the whole Trump thing, it's like I can't do this organized religion anymore. I'm not going to church. And my parents are reverends. My mom, I don't know, she has a certificate and she does stuff with her women's group. My dad is actually second in command to the pastor. And he has something in divinity. I'm not sure if it's bachelor's or master's, but he also has a bachelor's in like he has an MBA, but he also has another thing like for divinity. And they take it very seriously. But when I was just like, I can't do the white Jesus. I'm done. And they were like, yeah, we understand. And they've never, even though things are quote unquote better, they've never pushed me on it. Like, do you have a church home again? They used to always ask me that. And, red state Christians. And I don't get that anymore. I can talk the Bible with the best of them, but usually I'm using it to like preach, the Beatitudes and, what I call commie Jesus. So Jesus said, sell all your stuff and, give to the poor. And like, I'm all about commie Jesus. So I kind of guilt them into being better people. So yeah.
Well, I certainly hope so, because there are a lot of Christians who are not Jesus-like at all. They're more like
most people don't read their Bible.
They're like the Old Testament gods. Yes.
Yeah. Most people don't read their Bible. They'll tell you that. They listen to whatever their pastor says. And usually what I say to them is, well, you're not getting into heaven on your pastor's faith. This might be fine for him, but you need to understand what you believe. And I said that to my father. I actually, Cynthia, that's why I was on stream with her. She was, I was telling her, I was like, I cussed him out. He was coming at me with that BHI BS. And I'm like, no. That doesn't make any sense. We're not talking about, the curse of Shem or Ham or like, what is this? You can't tell me about Old Testament curses and that you believe in Jesus. Pick one. And the next time I talked to him, he said he was reading the Bible, which I'm totally cool with, because I think the top 3 reasons that people come out of Christianity is reading the Bible. So at least he knows it's in his book, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. And I've heard that on more than one occasion, that many people came out of their religion and actually became an atheist by reading the Bible and also reading other religious texts. You know, I actually had the opportunity growing up to have read different forms of mythology and been exposed to different religions.
wow.
And so comparing and contrasting really helped a lot, you know. And so
Yeah.
I used
Catholic girl
to
wasn't allowed to
think
do
what I
that.
would hear. Yeah, yeah, and so many people aren't, you know, and I think that's important for us to better understand, and you know, and to somewhat be patient with, because
hmm
there are a lot of folks who, you know, like you said, they have not been encouraged to do that part of critical thinking when it comes
Right.
to their religious beliefs. And so, with that being said, what do you think are what are some good solutions and practices for combating these claims and promoting healthy skepticism and dialogue? Because that's really where it starts. So what have
Yeah.
you found are some good practices for
Patience. Oh my God. I really need people to be patient with people. Know your triggers. When you're feeling heated, when you want to scream at people, walk away. You, regardless of what the cause is, you're doing more harm than good when you're screaming at people. And, you know, I don't know. I've made it work for me a couple of times, but don't, don't be like me. It's not a great strategy. Um, I need to talk to people, and I really like the Socratic method, where you're not giving them information, you're challenging them. Why do you believe that? Um, or another good one is, what does it mean to you? What would it mean to you if this were not true? Um, like really challenging to them to understand, like, why am I clinging to this so much? It You have to understand the actual underlying reason. A lot of people say that they want to get rid of all religion, and I for what I see in the United, and it's different for each individual, but United States as a whole, um, religion is being used as a cudgel. So just like when I was saying, you have people who are taking a lot of the toxic things from religion and moving it over into the atheist community. You're also going to have that without religion. It's just going to be toxic in a different area. You're still going to have the aquatic ape theory. You're still going to have the inner earth Aryans that, you know, you're still going to have this kind of manifest destiny mentality. It's going to, you know, the bigotry is the problem. We need to combat the bigotry for the United States as a whole. Individuals, everybody believes for a different reason. And you're going to need to get to your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your best friend on their own level. It's going to be different for mom than it's going to be for best friend, than it's going to be for your kid, and, you know, so on and so forth. So you really you gotta have that patience, that open heart, that willingness to listen to them, those asking those questions, hearing what they're saying, because that's going to help you figure out what it is, like what that piece is that they need to, because for a lot of people it's hell. A lot of people, you know, for me in particular, I couldn't let go of Christianity until I knew that, like, I wasn't going to hell forever, you know, we were going to burn forever. And, you know, when I finally kind of was willing to let go, like I wanted to let go, but when I was willing to let go was actually looking into hell and seeing that it wasn't biblical, and that it was all like, you know, it started here and snowballed, and, you know, that's the one thing that helped me. But it's, a lot of people aren't even going to be open to that until you go somewhere else first. And um you got to have that patience. And there's not going to be that one conversation. Like, don't feel like you have to walk away from the table having deconverted. what you're doing is planting seeds. Very, 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 very rare that you bring somebody out of a position in one table. When you think about yourself, when you think about other people in the community, listening to their stories, most people are saying it took a good year at least before they were like, okay, maybe I don't believe this, or maybe I can, I'm open to looking at other things. A year. So you're not going to do a year's worth of work sitting at the table at Thanksgiving. What you need to be comfortable with planting seeds and then coming back, giving them time to process that, and then coming back with another conversation. Did you have time to think about what we talked about last time? And then, planting some more seeds. And the point that you get them to a point of, can we agree on this? Like I said, for my dad, you're not making any sense. This isn't biblical. Can we agree on that? And what he said was, I'll look into it. And I was like, okay, that's point of agreement. And the next time I talk to him, I'm reading my Bible, and I'm working on him. I'm hell-bent on not letting my father be a BHI. Like that will happen. But, and, other family members, I'm working on them where they're at.
What does BHI stand for again? I know someone asked that.
Black Hebrew Israelites. They believe like Black people and Native Americans are the true Israelites.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I should have known that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Jews are like cosplaying, or, they're trying to take away our birthrights. It's yeah. Yeah.
Yep, say no more. Oh, say less, as they say.
Say less. I try not to get into it.
And we definitely know
it's
how
bad.
That
it's
is
so bad.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the one thing that we can also do while we are fostering these conversations with our family members and friends, and also community members, is that we continue to work on ourselves as well, right? This is a continuous process for many of us, that, in our everyday lives and everything that we do, that we're still human beings. We get emotional. So we understand that there will be times where we may get pissed off at someone and say, you know what, I'm not going to have this conversation with you today,
Right.
So,
exactly.
just really take it. And I think it's good for us, to support each other and reinforce each other as community leaders, as content creators, as people who are actually coming into the sphere of openly stating our positions as well. So, I will say that, ever since Cynthia really joining the Being team last year, we have just really become so much closer in how we help each other, navigate things in our personal lives, and also how we navigate this community as well, because it's not easy. And, as we continue to, again, foster this network that we have, it's always going to be so important. And so I'm so glad that you and I have been able to connect on at least this platform. And we definitely will be doing so more in the near future. So
yes, please.
If you are open to it, we will be working together more, definitely.
Yes,
I'm excited about
definitely open. Yeah. I am like I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, but when I'm thinking about, I do it for my show. When I'm thinking about what do I want to do, like what do I want this year to look like, what do I want to focus on, I've really been thinking about that. But and part of that is, reaching out and bringing more people into the community. And I want everybody to get comfortable with each other. I want to see more faces. And, I hope that, I think we're on the same page. Like we both want to grow our communities and we're stronger together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Maya, for being our guest on the show today. I know we could have gone so much longer, on the show,
Yeah.
but we definitely have to have you back, and also for another being program. So yes, thank you so much once again for being on our show. And we hope everyone stay tuned for the next part of the show where we let you know what we have coming up. Thank you. Please be sure to, if you aren't already following Maya on social media, please follow her on Instagram, subscribe to her YouTube channel, subscribe to her on X, formerly Twitter, and on Facebook. The information has been shared in the chat, and it is also in the description of the show. Thank you all so much for joining us today. And thank you once again to Maya for being our special guest. And now here is the part where we share our upcoming events. If this is your first time tuning into In the Cut or finding Black Nonbelievers, we hope you have enjoyed the show, and we hope that you will stay tuned to what we have coming up. Tomorrow, January 7th, please join me as I speak with the Baltimore Ethical Society via Zoom at 10:30 in the morning. I will be speaking on building and maintaining trust with BIPOC communities. It is free to attend as it is virtual, but please do tune in if you can. And if you are in the Baltimore area, please do tap into the Baltimore Ethical Society so that you can see what they have going on in that area as far as community. Also on January 20th in Tallahassee, Florida at 7 p.m. Eastern will be the premiere of Disconnected, which is produced and directed by Godless Gospel creative director Andre Forbes. He's also a BN member. This will take place at the Challenger Learning Center in Tallahassee. They are exploring a streaming option. So if that becomes available, we will keep you updated on that. And on January 21st, if you are in Charlotte, please join our Charlotte affiliate for Black people eating pho at University at 11 a.m. Eastern. And on January 28th, please join our Detroit affiliate, our Metro Detroit affiliate. Shout out to Kelly and crew up there. They will be doing going to a drag show and bingo brunch. And goodness gracious, the information is in the link. I totally forgot the name of the venue, but yeah, there is a venue there. And if you're in Atlanta on January 28th as well, join us at 5 p.m. Eastern for bowling. You know, we will be going bowling, having a good time and socializing at Midtown Bowl at 5 p.m. Eastern. Please click on the link for more information. And on January 29th, there will be a very, very special Zoom event, which will discuss the anti-slavery efforts of Thomas Paine, which is presented by the Thomas Paine Memorials Association and co-sponsored by the Free Thought Society, Black Nonbelievers, the Center for Inquiry, the Secular Coalition, and more. You can join us at 7 p.m. Eastern via Zoom. Cynthia McDonald will be providing entertainment for that program, and there will be special guest speakers, including myself, Dr. Anthony Penn, Congressman Jamie Raskin, and other representatives of the Congressional Black Free Thought Caucus, and also the secular community. That is also free to attend via Zoom as well. So we do like to get you updated on what's going on in the secular community, whether it is in person or virtual. And so we hope that you will stay tuned for those events and that you will attend. And BNCCon is back in 2024 from November 29th through December 5th. Please join us on Royal Caribbean's Independence of the Seas, where our stops this year will be Labadee, Haiti, and Falmouth, Jamaica, which is near Montego Bay. Our featured speakers this year include Chris Cameron, who is the author of Black Freethinkers, Candace Gorham, the author of the Ebony Exodus Project and On Death, Dying, and Disbelief, Dragnot Mims, some of you may know him from the YouTube community as well, Christy Puckett, who's an abolitionist out of North Carolina, Teddy Reeves from the National Museum for African American Culture, and more. Prices start at just $600 per person, and you can put down a deposit of $250. If you need flexible payment arrangements, you absolutely can reach out to us and we will assist you. Those prices include cabin fare, taxes and port fees, multiple dining options, and convention registration. Please do secure your slot today. And we are currently seeking new board members for Black Nonbelievers, as well as dedicated and enthusiastic affiliate leaders and organizers. We welcome you to join our team. We are always looking to grow in areas, and not just in respective cities, and also just across the world. So if you are interested in volunteering with Black Nonbelievers, we'd love to have you. Please reach out to us. And also, if you have some singing capabilities and chops, the Godless Gospel Music Project, which is a production of the Freedom from Religion Foundation, is still looking for singers, particularly tenors. This is a paid opportunity. So if you can sing and you like gospel without the God, submit your audition today. The link will be shared in the chat and is also in the description. So that wraps it up for today's In the Cut. Before we do that, if you are looking for a great gift to give at any given time of the year, pick up a copy of Name Dropping, the frustratingly fun movie trivia card game, which is created by previous In the Cut guest and board member Deanna Williams and her best friend Jesus Reyna. You can click on the link in the chat to purchase your copy of Name Dropping. It is a very fun game. We've played it before. If you are seriously into movie trivia, you definitely want a copy of this game. So this wraps up In the Cut. Again, we hope you've enjoyed the show and that you will join us again. Just as a reminder, we air every first and third Saturday of each month. Please don't forget to like this video and spread the word. Follow us on Facebook at Black Nonbelievers, Instagram at BNonbelievers Inc., and X, formerly Twitter, at BNonbelievers. The B and the N are capitalized. Subscribe to us on YouTube at Black Nonbelievers Inc. We thank everyone who is here today. And if you have subbed, please like, sub, and share. And we are getting closer to monetizing our channel. Please do catch previous episodes of In the Cut, as well as videos from previous events like Women of Color Beyond Belief, Being's 10th anniversary, our 5th anniversary, and much more. So please do help us get those hours up so that we can monetize our channel. Also, find your local Being affiliate on Meetup or join all of them. We are always looking for participants and, again, volunteers to help us organize. So yes, please do find us there. And of course, last but not least, we welcome you to give your financial donation to Black Nonbelievers as a 501c3. Your donations are tax deductible to the fullest extent of the law. You help with our programming. You help with our charitable efforts. Once again, we have co-sponsored the Hurston Student Activist Scholarship with the Secular Student Alliance for the past 3 years. And we will continue to do so in the future. And that is always made possible with your help. And if you want to represent BN even more, you can get your swag. We have t-shirts, we have hoodies, we have mugs, we have shot glasses, we have bumper stickers, and more. You can get your swag, your BN swag, at our online store. And that link is also in the chat. Take care. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.